We are back on MorningLine, our final segment with Joshua White, Assistant Professor of Finance at Vanderbilt, on talking about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, Bitcoin. And I was asking him during the break about all the Bitcoin millionaires out there. You know, if I had been clueless not clueless, and had been aware when Bitcoin really started going, and you'd bought Bitcoin very early on, like buying Nike stock before it was big, and it takes off. That's how you have Bitcoin millionaires. They bought them as investments, maybe when Bitcoin was maybe at $50 each, which is crazy. And now a Bitcoin is worth what?
It's going to be close to 40,000 right now.
Okay, and you said if someone last year bought Bitcoin, and you would have to take out of your bank account $10,000 to buy one Bitcoin last year, and now it's selling for $40,000 to $50,000. You've made 5 times your money in that year. Now, would that have been last year if I had asked you? Would that have been a good risk or not a good? How risky of an investment would that have been last year at $10,000?
Yeah, so cryptocurrencies in general. So this is where it meets finance theory that we would teach in the classroom at Vanderbilt. So cryptocurrencies in general will have specific risk to that cryptocurrency. And so if you're really wanting to invest in cryptocurrency as a whole, you would want a diversified portfolio. Because I don't know which coin's going to go up or down. I'm just trying to expose my investments to this.
So there's Bitcoin,
Ether, there's Dogecoin was one that was really popular. There's tons of different coins. And so ideally you would want to diversify across those coins if you wanted exposure to the space. But it's not as easy as trying to invest in several different stocks, right? I don't want to put all my money in Nike because Nike might not do as well, whereas the economy as a whole would be reflected in most stocks.
Right. Okay. And so, you think Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is a risky investment?
For sure.
I know you're not an investment counselor, but it still is. It's fairly unstable. But you said there's lots and lots of cryptocurrency millionaires right now.
There are, and so in finance, there's this fundamental trade-off of risk and return. If you want to earn a higher expected return, you have to expose yourself to more risk. But you have to expose yourself to the right type of risk.
Okay, so are you also saying that a ton of people lost their shirt?
A lot. Yeah, and a lot of people, many people, it's hard to predict the prices. And so you can imagine when Bitcoin was close to $60,000, there's somebody that bought at the top.
Yep, and then it came down.
And then it came down, and so...
But then you just hold on to it and hope it goes back up.
That's one of your only choices. You could do that, or you could sell and take a tax loss.
It's like anything else that you invest in, whether it's a stock or not. And this brings us to this. We had Dr. Friday on yesterday on this show talking about taxes, the IRS, and April 18th is around the corner. How does the IRS handle Bitcoin or cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so the IRS just recently sort of clamped down on avoidance of taxes in the cryptocurrency space. So a lot of these trades take place on exchanges.
Meaning you have to exchange your cryptocurrency for dollars.
Right, and so I buy it. I buy some Bitcoin maybe at 40,000. Let's say it goes to 50,000, and I sell. I've made $10,000 in capital gains.
Okay.
That exchange now reports that information to the IRS, and it reports it to you, so they know that you've made that profit, and of course the IRS is going to want to tax that as income.
Now, let's just say I am working, or someone's working for a company, and they're paid $500,000 a year in cryptocurrency, but they only exchange, they stash that away in an account, and they only exchange 100,000 of it. They'll only be taxed for that year's 100,000?
So it depends on what gets reported to the IRS.
Okay, so your company may require, are they required to report cryptocurrency payments?
Yeah, so if they pay you in cryptocurrency, they're still going to be required, in my understanding. Obviously a tax attorney would know better, but you have to fill out a W-2 as well, and you'd still have earned some income.
Okay, so suffice to say, I guess, the point being, I guarantee you some people are thinking, I want to get paid for cryptocurrency if the IRS doesn't know about it.
Right.
They're on it. And so you're going to be paying taxes on the cryptocurrency with whatever you exchange.
Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of people that invested last year when cryptocurrency did so well are going to get shocked by their tax bill this year, right? Because they're going to have to pay taxes if they sold on those capital gains.
And they're going to know
it's going to be a big tax bill.
It'll be a big tax bill. Are we going to see, though, I guess there was 1 or 2 athletes that made news saying that they were going to get paid their salary at some point with cryptocurrency. I forget who it was. Is that coming, or has that happened some? Are you familiar with what I'm talking about? Some people taking salary in that way?
I've seen some people signal that. One thing we don't know when a celebrity backs a cryptocurrency or a non-fungible token is what did they receive in exchange for making that statement. So if I'm an athlete and I say I'm going to take my payment in some new coin, the Nashville coin.
They're being paid to promote it.
They're probably being paid to promote that, and you have to remember that because that price, it might go up with the celebrity endorsement, but somebody knows that they're being paid and exactly how much, and they might be selling. So that's where you can get taken advantage of.
If Vanderbilt came to you and said, Professor, we want to pay you in cryptocurrency,
I would probably be okay with a small fraction.
I was going to say, so I would kind of like the idea of having a portion of my salary maybe in cryptocurrency.
Right, it would have to be discretionary income, money that I wouldn't be worried about, this is entertaining. So a very small fraction.
Yeah, right, or something. Well, okay, so just as we wrap up the program, someone like me or someone like Renee earlier, when I get off today and I get home and I call up the computer, if I wanted to look into and check to see about purchasing some cryptocurrency, where would I go?
For cryptocurrency, I would recommend going to a well-known exchange like Coinbase.
Coinbase.
And you can actually download Coinbase on your phone as an app.
Oh, good. So I'd go to Coinbase, and in there you would see
all the currencies that they trade.
And then I guess would. How do I do an exchange from my credit card? If I wanted to buy some, I say, all right, pull out my Visa and say, okay, I want to buy $1,000 worth of this specific coin. I don't know which one I would choose. Now, if I buy that at that point, there's probably a little fee that goes to Coinbase. But then after that, let's say I buy $1,000 worth of one of the newer ones that's not as expensive. I couldn't afford a Bitcoin right now, but I buy one. I can use it if I want to go ahead and buy an NFT, or I can just sit on it as an investment. And if that Bitcoin or that currency increases, say next year from $1,000 to $5,000, I can go back to the exchange and sell it.
You could, and you can actually invest in Bitcoin. You can invest in fractional ownership of Bitcoin. So if you say you have $100 or $200 you wanted to put into Bitcoin, you could do that on Coinbase, and they will credit your digital wallet with fractional ownership of that Bitcoin.
It's kind of like, is this kind of the same thing? Are there people doing this just like stock market day trading?
There are. There's certainly people that have invested in and tried to take advantage of these wild swings, but again, it's impossible to predict which direction it will go.
Super risky, I guess. So really, you would say if you're going to go onto one of these exchanges to get some cryptocurrency, do it if you're interested in maybe buying an NFT or creating one, maybe?
I would start with very small amounts and almost treat it like entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to go somewhere.
Kind of like you go to Vegas and you're like, okay, I'm going to bring a couple $100. If I win, great. If I lose, I'm getting $200 of entertainment, nothing lost that I'm going to worry about.
That's how I would view it. I wouldn't put my child's college fund in NFT.
No, not at
Bitcoin.
all. It's so new, and so anything you don't understand, you want to go really slow. But sometimes the only way to really learn is to experience and try it yourself.
For sure.
So you'd want to do that with a very low amount. Is it your belief, though, moving forward, and you've got a vast store of experience with everything you've done, I mean, it's not going to go away. You believe it's going to continue to evolve, and it's worldwide?
I think so. I think the cryptocurrencies are not going away, but as with any new technology, we talked about digital artists, it's attracted scam artists. And so, part of the credibility we'll see how many hacks we have over time. These wild fluctuations in prices would need to come down before
it's got to get more stable.
It's widely adopted.
And is it in most countries? I'm just wondering, does Putin have it in Russia? Is it in parts of Africa? Is it in Australia?
Yeah, so people are investing in cryptocurrencies worldwide, but there are some countries that have tried to clamp down and say, we don't want Bitcoin mining or Bitcoin transacting taking place.
And is the
here.
concern for that they just want to protect their own currency somehow? I don't know. How does this cryptocurrency affect the American dollar?
Well, you could say that the Federal Reserve is in charge of trying to understand how much money supply we have and looking at things. They could be very concerned because if it replaces the dollar, it replaces our central bank's ability to stimulate the economy. Or now when we see inflation getting into the economy, sort of slow things down by raising interest rates. And if you don't control the currency,
you can't do those.
Then it's much more difficult to do that.
So, and if a large portion of your population, whether you control it, as more people go to cryptocurrency instead of dollars, then that could affect the ability to increase or decrease interest rates.
Correct. And so then you lose potential control of your economy. So we saw China, who has a very controlled economy, one of the first countries to say, we're going to ban Bitcoin altogether and Bitcoin mining.
Can't have it there. See, this is something then sooner or later, maybe they already have, Congress is going to look at. Right? It's got to be on their agenda somewhere. As this gets bigger, Congress will have to act. I don't see us doing what China does. We're a free country, and I'm open for this enterprise and a new concept. But you're right. There has to be a way that it doesn't cause the economy to collapse, right? Which would be a concern.
For sure. And you don't want to. The government's always trying to trade off regulators. I work for the SEC. You want to protect investors from scams. but at the same time, you don't want to impede financial innovation. And you see the innovation in the space of NFTs and all the people that can monetize their content. So it's a very challenging thing to do, I think, as a regulator.
Last question, can you get cryptocurrency loans? It's like a bank. If I want to go to a bank to buy a new car and I'm borrowing $5,000, can I go somewhere and get $5,000 in cryptocurrency?
You could.
And then pay it back with an interest rate?
But then you run into the problem we have that cryptocurrency is not always accepted everywhere.
Yeah.
So you're probably more likely to get a loan in fiat currency and then buy crypto.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what, Josh, you are sharp. Thank you. I've learned more about cryptocurrency and these NFTs than I have in the past 15 years. And part of it is I just haven't been paying attention, and it seems so complex. But boy, I have a lot more to learn. But that's fascinating. Thank you for coming on. And we got a few good calls there, but it's a real pleasure. We'll do this again as it continues to grow, because NFT is very young, very new. But I think you make a great point. Here in Music City, we might see some artists doing stuff and people getting a piece of some of the songs, and I can see the appeal to it.
I think it's exciting.
You know, listen, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you. Well, we'll see you again sometime soon. We'll take a break. I'll have a programming note about tomorrow as I think more about cryptocurrency right after this.